Good afternoon. Welcome back. It is Friday, November 3rd, 2023. We have a handful of birthdays and a couple of events to tell you about, so let's dive right in. Back in 1985, on this day at Atlanta International Raceway, Bill Elliott won his record tying 11th superspeedway race of the season, breaking a record that David Pearson held all the way back to 1973. This also allowed Bill Elliott to come within 30 points or so of Darrell Waltrip heading into the final race at Riverside a week or was it 1 or 2 weeks after this? I can't remember how they did the schedule then, but it was a very, very tight points race there between Bill and DW. 2001, on this day in the Busch race at Rockingham, Kenny Wallace would win his ninth and final ever Busch Series win. He would race several more races after this for many, many years, but just never had the same success, and honestly never had the same equipment. He's always kind of getting shuffled down. Of course, Kenny runs dirt tracks now. On this day in 2002, Johnny Benson won his first career and only career Cup Series race at the Rock, driving for MBV or MB2 or whatever it was called at the time, the number 10 Pontiac. And kind of ironic, I think there's been 4 or 5 drivers with the number 10 that have won their first career race. So Johnny was one of many of those. And then Clint Boyer, on this day in 2006, won his first career Truck Series race at Texas Motor Speedway. So let's get to the birthdays. We got quite a few to talk about. One that I don't have a card for, born on this day in 1963, former kart and IRL driver, IndyCar driver, and current NASCAR Truck Series owner, Shigeaki Hattori. So kind of a weird transition that he went from racing in IndyCars to being an owner in the Truck Series. We're going to start with birthdays here with cards. 1997, born on this day. He was a Joe Gibbs development driver for a brief period of time. Not sure what he's doing right now. Born on this day in 1997. Kyle Benjamin. So put him back in stack over here. Born on this day in 1957, sadly passed away earlier this year in February. I normally don't dig in the cards this deep, but I at least wanted to because he only has 2 cards. Kind of a journeyman driver for a bit, raced in the Cup Series in the mid-'80s to early '90s, and then actually made a brief comeback in the Busch Series and the Truck Series in the early to mid-2000s. That'd be Trevor Boyes from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Placed career best. You'll see he's only got 2 career top 10s, and I believe the finish, his top 10 in '83 was his best career finish. He did run for Rookie of the Year that year. He would run a total of 102 Cup Series races. There you see he ran a couple more that year. But this will just give you a little bit of information about Trevor. And I don't like that they did the max facts on the lesser-known drivers. I think they should have tried to done their best to give you information about the driver on the front of the card. But yeah, Trevor was a bit of a journeyman. Drove mostly for James Hilton, but also drove for D.K. Ulrich, Roger Hamby a few times, as well as Elmo Langley. Never had a top ride, so don't know what he could have done. And Earl Sadler ran a few races for Earl. He did pretty good there. But I think if he could have had a better ride, I think you would have seen Trevor run at the front a lot more. And then Brock Beard has a really good video on him on his channel. Well researched. A lot of great information there. Let's go to 1952, born on this date. We talked about drivers. Another scam call coming in here. Let's cancel that out. We talk about drivers winning their first race in the number 10. How about the first driver to ever win a Cup Series race in the number 10, born on this day? Mr. Greg Sachs. So there you see a picture of him in Victory Lane. Of course, the set is from 1994, but his victory was in 1985. There is some information about Greg. That card's in a little rough shape, but I just keep it around because it's a pretty cool card. He kind of hopped around from ride to ride there in the 80s, never really landing anything solid. 85, he finished the year for Dygard after he won at this race. 86, he started the year at Dygard, and that team shut down. 87, 88, he drove for Dingman Brothers. Valvoline Pontiacs. 89, he drove for Buddy Baker, and the Crisco car got released. And then he kind of hopped around a little bit more. 1990, he found himself driving for Rick Hendrick. He was one of the drivers that they used for the Days of Thunder movie. And he drove a number 18 Slim Fast car that was co-owned by Rick Hendrick and Paul Newman, of all people. So then 1991 rolls around. He started the year driving the Navy-sponsored car because the teams didn't have sponsors. R.J. Reynolds, you had the Gulf conflict going on, so R.J. Reynolds chipped in money for these teams, put the colors of the different military branches. This was actually a Diamond Ridge Racing car that Greg drove. 1991, he drove the 47 car, the Derrike clothes-owned machine. 92, he went to the Kellogg's car, Larry Hedrick's team. 93, and like I said, this man's a journeyman. He just drive whatever he could get into. Didn't really have a ride to start the year. Finished the year with the 68 team, the TriStar Motorsports. 94, his first full-time gig in a while. U.S. Air Jasper Engines, DK Ulrich owned car number 77. 95, he started the year with the Sabco / Dick Brooks Racing Kendall Pontiacs. Got released midway. And then after that, he just kind of, 97, so that was 95. 96, he drove the Harry Ranier Hardy. No, 97, he drove the Harry Ranier Hardy's car number 20 till they ran out of money. 98, he went to Cale Yarborough's team driving the 98 Thornapple Valley car and had a career-ending injury in the Texas race. Can't remember where he went in 96, though. I'm drawing a blank on that one. But nonetheless, we got some of his cars here. There's that number 41, the Kellogg's car, the original, one of the original Kellogg's car. I always like the look of that one. That's, of course, is 92. We got these out of order a little bit. That's the Navy car. This was the Diamond Ridge Racing car, number 18. There's that bright number 68 that he drove for TriStar. There's that Jasper Engines U.S. Air car, DK Ulrich owned. There's another view. And I like this because this is the kind of a preview, but it's also like a what do we call that now? Cracked ice. So this was from 1994. And then 1995, the Kendall Pontiacs that he drove. Nice looking car. Just that team wasn't, because it was kind of the Sabco B team, and then they just didn't have a lot of funding, a lot of direction, and they just honestly struggled. Felt bad for Greg. See here. Go to 1964 now. Almost missed this one. Born on this day in 1964. Crew chief, Tony Gibson. So here he is back with Bill Elliott, and here he is with Kurt Busch when he won the Daytona 500. So pretty cool to have some Tony Gibson cards out there. Can't remember if I showed him or not. If I did, you got to see him twice. So bonus episode if we did that. And our final birthday, the second driver to ever win in the number 10 car, also getting their first career win. Born on this day in 1958. He has 2 career wins, including a Daytona 500. Mr. Derrike Cope. And of course, we tried to keep these chronological with the career. So this one, we talk about all the time. 1988, he drove for Jim Testa, the number 68 Pure Later Fords. 1989, he took the Pure Later sponsorship over to, he kept it with Whitcomb, or not Whitcomb, but the 68 team. They shut down. Jim Testa's team shut down. He took the sponsorship to the 10 car, Bob Whitcomb's team. He ran there all the way through 1993. When they ran out of money. 1992. 1993, he went to drive for Cale Yarborough's team. They picked up Bojangles last minute at Daytona. 1994, he drove the first part of the year for Cale Yarborough again, Fingerhut sponsorship. Drove 5 races in the middle of 1994 for T.W. Taylor's team before going to Bobby Allison's team full-time in 1995. Finished 94, picked up the Straight Arrow mane and tail sponsorship. Had a great year in 95. Halfway through 96, they lost Straight Arrow mane and tail. Picked up this sponsorship. I'll let you read that. I'm not going to say it. I don't want to risk demonetization. But, Logan, if you're watching, this would be a card for your sophomore slabs to get graded. I got a couple more. Another one that shows the card, but kind of funny there. Sophomore slabs. Go check out Logan's channel, King NASCAR, on Twitter, X, whatever. Has a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool videos over there. 97, Derrike Cope went to MB2 Motorsports, their debut year with the Skittles Pontiac. 98, he went to the Bahari team, the number 30. They still had Pennzoil funding, but Pennzoil wanted to do their gum out branding because Pennzoil in 98 went to DEI. 1999, he was still with the 30 team, and they had a litany of sponsors that year, including Jimmy Dean, State Fair Corn Dogs, and a bunch of others, rotating sponsorship deal through that parent company. So let's talk about car cards. 91, 92, not a lot of difference, but if you notice on the deck lid and the C post, it does pick up some associate sponsorships there. Sorry about that. But they got Bullseye barbecue sauce. I think that might be Bullseye on the deck lid. Yeah. So they picked up a Bullseye barbecue sauce as an associate. Talked about 1993. I thought that was always a cool paint job. The Bojangles. 94. Started the year off with the Finger Hut team. Went to T.W. Taylor's team. Very cool that they made a card of that one. Like I said, only ran 5 races or so in that car. He did as good as he could in it. This is the original straight arrow mane and tail car. Then in 1996, 95, and 96, they did more of the gradient. So I like this car, but this one looks better. So it has that white to yellow to green to blue. And then there again, Logan, there's that car. I think that'd look great in a sophomoric slab to go in your collection. Skittles, 97. There's the Gum Out, 98. And then 99, we have a Jimmy Dean car. And then he did run a few Truck Series races. And this was one of the trucks that he ran. Don't ask me who the owner is because I didn't look that one up. Shame on me for not giving you the information that you desire. But anyway, wow, we are winded. We are 12 minutes in. Been a great video. Lot of ground that we covered today. And it makes up for some of those videos, some of these birthdays that we've had recently where they didn't have much, not a lot of people born or not a lot of people racing on some of these days. So anyway, thanks again for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, and we will see you tomorrow.